Hey everybody, welcome to the Value Add Podcast with EQ. Of course, I'm EQ. And as you know, every single episode, what we do is we bring you dynamic conversations with super interesting, super inspiring, super amazing people. And this episode is definitely nothing short of amazing. I am so happy that I finally get this guy, my friend, my brother, Mr. Nathan L. Sweeting, on the show today. Nathan is an accomplished motivational speaker, author, and teacher. He has written 2 books that I actually have and read myself, but he is also a self-mastery expert. But I'm not going to tell you too much more about it. I'm going to let the man, the legend, do it himself. Nathan, man, welcome to the Value Add Podcast.
It's an extreme pleasure to be here. Like, on a different level, it's an extreme pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So, Nathan, for those who may not be familiar with who you are and exactly what it is you do, I want you to introduce yourself. Just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, like you said, I'm Nathan L. Sweeting. I'm a keynote speaker and a life coach. Married. One wife that I know about, one child that I know about. I love self-mastery. I focus on helping people to adjust or manage their mindset, mind, emotions, and behaviors, because everything starts with self-mastery. Whatever you do in life, wherever you go in life, you have to start with learning how to manage and master yourself. That's why I really focus on primarily mindset. I wrote 2 books. I am the founder of NLS Global, which is my online platform for everything personal development and self-mastery. And that's where you go to reach me as well. What else? I mean, that's basically the general gist of me.
Man, let me tell you, it's amazing. It's amazing with time comes growth and maturity, right? Mm-hmm. Because I remember, so Nathan, for those who may not know, Nathan has actually been a friend of mine for well over 20 years. Yeah. And when we first met, we actually didn't like each other at all. And it's amazing. We actually bonded over a drinking competition. Yep. I think we were at a party and I was fresh from Brazil, so I was used to drinking hard rum. And we sat down and we said, all right, we'll go shot for shot, right? And I was like, all right, pick your poison. Nathan was like, no, man, whatever you want to drink. So I'm thinking like, I'm going to crush this guy. So I'm going to pick the most disgusting thing ever, which was fucking Gilby's gin. Little did I know that Gilby's gin was this guy's drink. Regularly. So like regularly. So we're there shorting Gilby's gin. And, well, like they say, the rest is history.
Like rum brought us together.
Rum brought us together. But Nathan, I'm so excited because I have seen your journey. I've witnessed it firsthand. If you had told me back then when we were shorting Gilby's gin that you were going to be an author, that you were going to be married with a beautiful family and all these things, I probably would have laughed, because it is such a 180 from where you were, right? Yeah. And so, I mean, I can attest to, I mean, even now when we talk about your addiction to weed, right? Like, I mean, you used to smoke. I remember you used to smoke insane amounts of weed, right? And so, you know, I want us to talk a bit about, because one of the things that I have gotten from you that I think added, you know, besides the friendship, but something that has added tremendous value even on my personal journey towards becoming my best self, is that notion of you can't fight yourself. So if you say I'm a smoker, because that was one of the things that I was challenged with too. I used to smoke. And when I was trying to quit smoking, I remember I went to Nathan and I said, you know, Nathan, I'm trying to quit smoking. And you said something that was so profound. It was, I don't want to give too much away, but I want you to talk us through that, why it isn't good, especially when it comes down to addiction or being successful, or, you know, trying to incorporate new behaviors, get rid of bad habits, why your self-identity is important. Like, let's talk them through that, because I think, I mean, for me, if I was to say, okay, well, what was that one thing that was really instrumental that I got from Nathan? Like I said, that automatically rise. I mean, there's a shitload, but that one, I think, made the biggest difference for me, because then I actually applied it to different areas of my life too. So let's talk about that for a bit.
Like how you said, and it's one thing I always teach my clients: like, don't ever try to fight yourself. Like, if you want to exercise 5 days a week, quit an addiction or whatever, don't force yourself to do anything, because most times, almost all the time, when you try to force yourself, it's a losing battle. So it's understanding the principle that you have a mind and brain, but you're not your mind and brain. A lot of people think that they cannot control their minds, that you have to automatically respond to this. You have to automatically respond to situations in a certain way, but you don't. It's a choice.
Right.
It's a choice to get angry. It's a choice to give up. It's a choice to procrastinate. It's a choice to feel certain emotions. What I want people to understand is that it's a choice that you are subconsciously most times making, right? So don't try to fight yourself. Means learn how to manage your thoughts so you don't have to try to go against your mind. All right. You mentioned what stood out to you with the addiction. So I don't know if your viewers know. I know you started to mention it, but I used to smoke like 10 to 15 times every day for almost 18 years, right? I was a real pothead. Like someone just told me today, actually. Right? And I realized that the turning point for me was making the switch and changing my self-identity. So whereas I saw myself as being a smoker who was trying to quit smoking. So I identified myself as being that smoker the same way people identify themselves as being a procrastinator, or not being someone who is self-motivated, or not being a confident person. That's who you're identifying yourself with. Whoever you identify yourself with, your mind and your brain is going to say, all right, this is who you are. Then I need to do more of this to ensure that you are more of this person. That's how your brain and mind work. So how I was able to quit that addiction was I separated the self-identity from the habit. Okay. So whereas smoking I was not a smoker. When I stopped being a smoker and I started looking at smoking being a habit I had, I can break a habit. But to change who I am is way more difficult than to change a habit.
Say that one more time for the people in the back. I don't think they understand that. One more time.
To change who you are is way more difficult than changing a habit you have.
So Nathan, I mean, all right, I totally get that, right? Like, I mean, I've lived that whole experience of separating your identity or yourself from the habit, right? And that works to break bad habits. My question to you though is like, how does that work in reverse? Or does it work in reverse? As far as if you want to establish new habits, like me saying I'm not a smoker, I am somebody who smokes, or I have a smoking habit. I get that. But let's say, for instance, I want to be successful in business, or I want to get my six pack. I want to be healthy and fit. I'm working on my fitness journey. And I understand that, there are things that I have to do in order to be successful, right? How would that be in reverse, if it's possible? Do I now say, all right, I am Ethan, and fitness is like help me. Does it work in the opposite way to incorporate new habits, and if so, how so?
That's exactly how it is. It actually does work in the complete opposite way, because you will always live up to your self-identity. Oh, I gotta write that down.
That was good.
That was good.
Say that one more time for the people in the back.
You will always live up to your self-identity. So in the same way how you would change yourself, you would get rid of a self-identity if you want to get rid of something or a habit or an addiction. You would form a self-identity for something you want to start. So for example, I train 5 days a week, exercise. I exercise 5 days a week. I look at myself. I am the person who exercises 5 days a week. I am that guy. That is me. That is who I am. I don't look at exercising as a task or as an activity. No, exercising is a part of who I am. I am a person who exercises. Right? So that is who I see myself as. If I don't exercise in a given week, I am stepping outside of myself.
So you wouldn't necessarily say then that I am an out of shape person who is trying to exercise.
No. I am the person actively on my health journey. That's who I am. That's me. I am transforming my body. That's who I am.
Right.
It's not something I need to be motivated for. It's not something I need, extra accountability for. It's just who I am. The same way I am a father. Right?
Right.
I am a father. I have a child.
Right.
So whether I'm motivated or not, I still take care of my child because I am a good father.
Right.
This is who I identify myself as being. So it's the same thing if you want to form a habit, exercise, succeed in business. It's the same thing. This is just who I am. This doesn't require motivation. This doesn't require a cheerleading squad.
Okay, I hear you right now. See, oh shit. See, this is the thing now. When me and this guy get together, we actually talk because I learned so much from him. And so what you guys are witnessing right now is really a fucking Friday night when we get together. We don't talk about dogs and cars and hoes no more. We talk about business success. No more. No more.
That's back then.
But we talk about things that are going to drive us closer to the best versions of ourselves. Things that are going to progress us on our journey, right? And so, but you talked about this notion of motivation, and I get so excited because I get motivation, right? But I've never heard it fucking articulated the way that you articulate, like how you talk about motivation. So Nathan, for the people in the back and the people in the front and the people in the middle, what is your viewpoint on this notion of I need to be motivated to do X, Y, and Z? What is your notion on motivation?
I think most people have the complete opposite idea of motivation. People believe that you need to be motivated in order to take action. I have to be motivated to go exercise. I got to be motivated to write my book. But it's the complete opposite. Motivation is the result of action. Motivation is the result of action, not the other way around. You don't have to be motivated to act. You need to act to be motivated.
Wow. I think a lot of people get that twisted though, because for a long time that was me. I was like, I can't do the action because I'm not motivated. Yeah. But doing the action actually creates the motivation.
Oh, yeah, by far.
But it was something else that you said when you described motivation, and I heard it on several of your talks. You used to say motivation is like bathing. tell them that one, Nathan. That's what tell them that one.
Yeah, I love that. Motivation is like bathing. You have to do it every day.
Right. Because it wears off. You can't not bathe every day. So now when you talk about motivation, if motivation is something that's fleeting, right? That isn't constant, you can't necessarily rely on it because it doesn't have this whole it isn't this source of long-term drive to get you to where it is you want to be. I think we both agree with that. Motivation is more of an igniter. It feels good. It's a nice to have, but in order to be successful, you don't need to be quote unquote motivated.
No.
So what would you say if motivation isn't the key to success? First of all, I want you to we can circle back to that, but what would you say are the fundamental or the foundation for success straight across the board, regardless of what area of your life you're talking about?
3 things. So first of all, like you said, motivation is temporary. You cannot depend on motivation to get you to where you need to be. At the same time, you use motivation by constantly motivating yourself, throughout the process now, but you don't depend on it. You use it, right, but you don't depend on it. There are 3 things you depend on for your success in any area of your life. Mindset, habits, systems.
What? Hold on. Say that one. All right, because I was with you on mindset and habits. Systems is new, so I can be learning some shit right now. All right, so say that one more time, and then I want you to break down all of those. When you say mindset, when you say system, when you say mindset, habits. When you say habits, when you say systems, like I want you to give us the fucking formula now. Anyway, it's a good thing we recording this. Margot, we recording this, right? Because I want to make sure that I can now go back with my notepad and pen and pick this shit up. So Nathan, break this shit down for us.
Man, I wish I had a notepad pen right now. Like as I talk, I was like, oh shit, I need to write this down.
This
like,
is good. This is good stuff.
This is why I like to do live stuff because it's nice. You know?
Yeah.
When you talk about success, there are three things you need for success: mindset, habits, and systems. Right? Mindset. Everybody basically know, or most people basically know about mindset. Mindset is the way you think. You know, your perception, what you choose to focus on, and your belief system. They're the three parts to your mindset. Right? So all success and failure originate in your mind. If whatever you succeed at or fail at, it happens first up here. And then that turns into reality. Because once you think it, I saw you have a poster up on the wall, thoughts become things.
Yeah.
Which is true. And the breakdown of that is once you think something, that leads to certain emotions. Once you feel, because we act based on emotions and we back it up with logic. So the thought comes first, then we start to feel certain emotions, and those emotions lead to our actions. So thought literally becomes real, become thing, because your thought turns into your actions, and your consistent actions leads to your results.
Interesting. So that is mindset.
That's mindset.
Right.
All right. Then you have habits. Your habits are your consistent actions. So what you consistently do. So if you exercise consistently, you form the habit of exercising. If you procrastinate consistently, you form the habit of procrastination.
I got you.
And that's another thing. Procrastination is a habit. It's not a self-identity.
Really? So I am not a procrastinator. I am somebody who procrastinates.
Exactly.
Wow. All right, so we got mindset, we got habits, and then the next one.
Last one is system. Ooh, this is
System.
nice. I will write this down.
So let's talk systems now.
So systems are the templates you put into place for your goals, for your day, for your life. Right? Systems eliminate unnecessary effort, energy, and thinking. One thing you got to learn about your brain. Our brains are the dumbest, smartest organs of our body, in our body. It's the dumbest, smartest part of our body. Your brain is responsible for ensuring everything works and everything, happens as it should. But your brain only takes the cues that you give it. So your brain will only give you more of what you consider to be pleasure. And your brain would only take away what you consider to be pain. So it will push you towards what you consider to be pleasure, and it will take you away from what you consider to be pain. So a system for my daily system is when I wake up in the morning, I meditate. This is my system for every day. I meditate, I train or exercise, which is exercise, and I work, then I have family time, right? That's my general system. Of course, that can be broken down into like thousands of parts.
So is systems then in this context the same as or interchangeable with a routine?
Yes. So it's a template.
Okay.
So it's really, what is your template for your day? So even when you look at work, what's your template? My template is I spend this time on, answering messages. I spend this chunk of time on creating content. This is my system, which is technically your routine. But what it really is a template for your life to where it takes the guesswork out of, all right, what am I going to do now? All right, if this goes wrong, what happens now? So your system is, if you have an emergency, this is how I deal with it. If I have a problem, this is how I deal with it.
Okay, I got it.
You have a regulated, I want to use another word other than system, but I use template.
Like almost like protocol, like this is what happens if X happens. I mean, because, all right, so when I heard systems, right, one of the first things that came to mind is, because that's one of the things that we do with our businesses, DeKel and I, we have a system in place. And so once we get a new piece of material up on the site, if somebody clicks, there's a system that follows to get them to the end result that we desire, right? So initial contact, secondary contact, we send out an email, response, end result. So that in my mind, that's what I was thinking about systems. Listening to you explain it now, I'm thinking more routines, or this is pretty much the structure of which I operate in, right? And so, but when you, because I got really excited with the systems, because I was listening to a podcast with Ed Milet, and Rob Derrick, I think. I can't remember if that's how you pronounce his name, but I'll link it below. But they were pretty much talking about the systems that they have in place. I have a lot of fucking systems in place for business. Like, when I got a client, like I have processes and protocols and systems in place for business. I don't have it in place for my personal life, right? And so when you said systems, I was really excited about that. But what I'm hearing now, and I'm understanding that we're also talking about general routines and also having something in place that allows you to know exactly what you're doing at every point in time, so there isn't any guesswork. That's pretty much what it is. And so it's pretty much by creating these systems or these routines, you kind of go on automation on your journey, but it's like you don't have to think about what it is that I'm doing today because I know I have my routine. That's pretty much what it is, and I get that. So let me ask you this: when it comes to these systems and stuff, how does somebody go about? Because I get mindset. Well, I want you to go. Actually, let's take me through all three of those steps. Right? I am somebody. I want to accomplish something great in my life, regardless of the area. Right? Let's call it business. Let's call it relationship. Let's call it fucking health and fitness. What is the process if I'm just starting out on my journey, whatever that journey is? What is the process by which I can set myself up to be successful?
But I gotta say, I always like getting interviewed by you. Like your question is always on point.
Nigga, because I asking for me. I really want to know. Because no, but like real talk, like I want to know, like if we're talking about I'm starting from ground zero, I have this idea in my mind or this goal or this thing that I want to accomplish. I want to know how I can set myself up to be successful.
So there are three areas you got to cover. Well, three primary areas you got to cover. Everything could fall in these. I would say everything could fall in these three categories. One is to clearly, with crystal clarity, no doubt whatsoever, identify where you want to go, what you want to achieve. You got to first identify, okay, what is the goal? What is the specific goal? Where do I want to be? Because...
Now, okay, hold on, let's put a pin in that. So when you say specific now, right? Mm-hmm. How specific are we? Like, because when I say I want to be rich, and I'm working to, like, I have a number. Like this year, I want to hit 5 million, right?
Nice.
And so that's my specific number, right? Mm-hmm. Is that specific enough, or do I need to be able to say, because I know, like when we say specific, because we hear, like, is losing weight specific? My goal is to lose weight. My goal is to be the best father that I can be. Like, how specific is specific?
That's a good question. How specific? I want to do a post on that. How specific is specific? That's a good post, actually. I'm getting so much attention to this podcast. Y'all want to see some new content coming out from the same podcast.
Hey, just credit Value Add Podcast.
Definitely. So, specific means, let's use the specific means there is no question as to where you want to go. You know what the real definition of specific is?
What?
You could actually say, you could clearly identify when I have reached success. Clearly.
Right.
So if you just say I want to be rich, at what point would you be able to identify I've made it, I've achieved it?
As rich. Right.
I'm rich. If you want to just lose weight, at what point would you be able to say I've achieved my health goal?
Right.
You have to identify that point where you can say I am there.
Right.
I've done it. Now let me move on to the next goal.
So this has to be a clearly articulated number, destination, thing. Quantity. It has to be something that you have done that you can say, because I have done this, I am now successful and I can move on to the next.
Exactly. I can now cross this goal off my list.
Because I have successfully attained it.
Yes.
Interesting.
That's
all right,
specific.
Cool. Solid. So you want to have a specific goal, right? We got that. What is the second thing? Because you said there were three things.
So the second thing is you want to identify your action plan.
Identify your action plan.
There's two parts to that.
Because I can identify shit and he ain't doing shit. I just say like, when we say, I was like, hold on now. Because I can identify, but identify he ain't doing.
Yeah.
Identify. All right. So proceed.
Yeah. So that's a good point. So you actually want to identify. I want to copy this. I gotta see this podcast because I have to take. Of course,
you can see it. Nigga.
I have to take some notes of this.
Like, you can read it. You can see it when it go up. But of course, you can see it. You in it. Come on.
This content for the rest of the year, like literally this content for the rest of the year. So I mean, like really, I won't get a pen and paper so bad right now. This is my content for the rest of the year, literally. So you want to be able to identify an action plan and execute.
So identify and execution is the next.
Identify and execution.
Okay, I got it.
Is number 2.
Right.
So I want to grow my business. I want to lose X amount of pounds. All right, what is my plan? My plan to grow my business is, all right, I identify these 3 mentors who I need to go to. I create my business plan. So this is your plan. You want to lose weight. All right, let me link up with a fitness trainer or coach. I need to work out X amount and yada yada. That's your plan.
So identifying the plan process, identifying your action plan is pretty much plan development. This is the who, the what, the where that you need to get access to in order to be successful.
Yes.
So like you said something like identifying mentors. Who was it that's going to be able to help me? So this is pretty much outlining the resources, whether that's human, financial, skills, education that you are going to have to acquire or access in order to be successful on this very specific goal that you had. Is that correct?
Exactly. Internal and external resources.
Internal okay, so quick note. What is the fucking difference? Because I was like resources, but now I'm like internal. What are my internal resources? So when you say internal and external, just give us a quick definition between the two.
So so your resources are anything that can help you to get from where you are to where you want to be. Your internal resources are what we spoke about earlier: your mind, your emotions, and your behaviors. So in other words, it's learning self-mastery. What mindset do I need to adopt or create? What all emotions do I need to start managing now? Because there's discouragement, there's anxiety, there's fear. So self-confidence, self-motivation, all of these are internal resources.
So what would be considered external resources?
So external, like your mentors, hiring coaches, trainers, your money, platforms, social media, electronics, all those are external outside of you. Everything that you can use that's not you, anything that you can use to help you to get to where you need to be.
So just a fucking question, because I get internal and external. Where would the acquisition of knowledge and skills fall in that? Like case in point, I say, okay, well, you know what? I want to build a YouTube channel or a fucking podcast, right? Would my learning how to do that be an internal or an external resource?
Wait, that is a really awesome question, Jen.
I confused. Like I'm asking for clarity for me. Like hopefully they get some value, but I want to know because I'm like, see now you fucking with me because I'm like, okay, well I didn't have the thought process of managing my internal resources, so I get that. That's something new. But now, okay, well, the acquisition of a certain skill set or learning how to do something, some knowledge, like what, I mean, because I know, like, where's that fall? Like, is that internal, external, what?
So if you want to get technical with it, your knowledge is internal, right? So that's an internal resource. Now, you can get that knowledge from external resources, YouTube, books, coaches, mentors.
Right, like, okay, all right. So now I can even add to my internal resources, thus increasing my capacity and capability by tapping into external resources that I have identified in this first part of my action plan.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You see why y'all should fucking pay attention to this thing? This thing is awesome. All right. So now we've identified the internal and external resources that we need to be successful. Now, the second part of the action plan step is execution.
So that's the second part of the second step.
The second part of the second step, right.
So the second step is identify your plan, resources, all that, and then execute. Because I know a lot of professional planners, professional goal setters, they got the vision board up, they could articulate their goals, I mean, beautifully. Right? Got the pictures of the magazines cut up, everything. But there can be no goal achievement without action, without execution. You could have the best ideas, but you know who's going to make money and be successful at that idea? The one who executes the idea.
You know, it's interesting. My wife just asked me this morning, because, you know, she comes up with these random things between her, my daughter, and myself. Like, we just throw out random stuff to each other every so often. But she asked me this morning, she said, Ethan, which one you think is better, execution or a really good idea? And I said, fucking execution, right? And I was like, because a really good idea not executed well or not executed at all is not beneficial, but a shitty idea executed well could beat a great idea executed poorly or not executed at all. So I totally agree with you there as far as that whole execution is important aspect.
Definitely, you gotta take action. Action leads to results. Ideas sort of get you started, and I said sort of get you started. Unofficially gets you started, but it's the act. You have to go there. I could want to lose weight all I want. I could want to be an entrepreneur, grow my business all I want.
You could have the best business plan in the world. You could identify all the internal and external resources.
I could have my bullet points, my
everything,
my pictures, everything.
Your Canva presentation.
You understand? But unless you go there and actually start moving,
right,
you can stay right there with the idea, and then someone else is going to think of the same idea eventually, and then move in.
Right.
How many times have you heard people say, I had that idea, you know. Yeah. I was thinking about that. Yeah. I could do that. And someone else did it because they executed.
All right. So now we have a specific goal. So we have 2 of the 3 steps for success. We have the initial, have a clear definition of where it is, a clear vision of where it is that you want to be. Be specific. Yeah. We have the action plan, identifying the internal and external resources, and then the execution of that plan. And what is number 3, bro?
So the third point, like I said, is staying consistent with it all. You can have the plan, you can start executing, but now where it comes into play is you need to stay consistent in your actions, build momentum. So if you just exercising for 1 month, that's still taking action. But now what happens after that? You achieve your goal when you consistently do it and you make it a lifestyle. And staying consistent in your goals means making, and it is goals in any area of life, whether it be relationship, business, health, you need to make your goals your lifestyle. Like being married is a lifestyle for me. Staying healthy and fit is a lifestyle for me. Being an entrepreneur and thriving in business is a lifestyle for me. A lifestyle means there's continuous work and effort. Continuous work and effort. That's what a lifestyle is for me, and that's what consistency is for me.
All right, so let's bring it in one solid swoop. So we can hit them with in order to be successful, there are 3 things, and bop, bop, bop. Okay. All right. Yeah. So just summarize, Nathan, all of that for our people.
There are 3 things you need in order to be successful in any area of life.
Right.
1 is to identify where you want to be. Identify your goals. Be crystal clear so there's no guesswork as to when I have achieved that.
Right.
You can identify that. The second thing is 2 parts. First, identify a clear action plan and your resources. Then execute on that. So identify what all you need internally and externally to make that happen. And then go out and take action. Don't just leave it up here. Let it manifest into reality. You know, take the action steps. And the third point is stay consistent in your efforts and actions. You have to build momentum and keep doing it. Make it a lifestyle, no matter what area of your life you want to be successful in, whether that be marriage, health, business. Make that a lifestyle and make that a part of who you are.
Awesome. So Nathan, right quick, how, I mean, and I'm a firm believer. So, and I share this all the time, but one of my, I guess you call them mentors, one of my millionaire mentors told me, I need to define success, right? And I was like, oh, well, success. And he's like, no, give me one fucking line. What does success mean to you? What is success? Because like you said, you can't, unless you have that clearly defined thing, how do you know if you're successful or not, right? And so my question to you is, how do you define, like, what is success to Nathan?
Success is having the freedom to do what I want to do and be who I want to be, go where I want to go. Success to me is freedom. Financial freedom, time freedom, just freedom to enjoy life the way that I want to enjoy it, and in each area of life. Now, that is my general definition of success.
Right, naturally.
Right? Of course, that can be broken down as to what is success in business,
right,
what is success in relationship.
Yeah.
But that is my general success definition.
And not that I think mine is better. I mean, everybody has their own definition of success, but after digging deep, my success to me is being able to live the lifestyle that I want while doing what I love, while impacting as many people as I can.
Nice.
Like, that is my one-liner of success, because I feel as though that encapsulate that captures everything in all areas, right? Like, success, it doesn't make any sense to me if and the lifestyle that I want is one where I have a loving wife and we have an amazing relationship and we have awesome kids, and so taking care of home is success as well. It can't just be, all right, well, I'm making money, but my home life is shit. Like, that isn't success for me. Or I'm making money, my home life is good, but my body is shit. Like, my health is shit. Like, that isn't success for me. So the lifestyle that I want is all of that, right? And then being able to, by doing what I want to be able to earn a living doing what the fuck it is that I want. Case in point, this podcast. Case in point, my media company. Case in point, real estate. But a big part of my success is driven, or the third part is, I want to be able to impact positively as many people as I can. And that really was a major catalyst for why I started this very podcast, because I have so many valuable people in my life, you being one of them, that I felt could add value to a much wider audience. And I really wanted to create a platform where I can just share my journey, but share things that get me fired up. Like, every time I talk to you, I learn fucking something new. I get a different perspective on something. And I really think that's what we need to do as people, is really seek out, not just mentors, but people who are kind of where we are, trying to do what we're trying to do, and figure out, okay, well, I'll learn from them. All right, well, how is this working for you? Or how is it? Because all of us in the same boat, regardless of status, all of us are people just trying to do better and get better and become the best versions of ourselves. And that's really a never-ending journey.
And it's so funny what you said, because I told this to my wife. I said, babe, every time I come from Ethan, I learn something new. Like, every single time, babe. Like, and it's been this way for over 20 years. Literally, every time me and you have a conversation, I walk away with some idea, some mindset, something. And this is the type of people who you need to surround yourself with.
Exactly. All right, Nathan. I mean, you dropped so many gems. Like, I feel like I as a jeweler now, because I got so much gems, right? I know that was corny, but I don't care. But for those people who may want to get in contact with you, to either for coaching or speaking, or just to kind of get into your network, I want you to let the people know where they can find you and how they can reach you.
So the primary way you guys can reach me is through my website, nls-global.com. That's where you book me for speaking. That's where you join my coaching programs, join my online program. That's where you go for everything. nls-global.com. And I'm also on social media as Nathan L. Sweeting on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right, guys, there you have it. We have had. I told y'all, y'all were not gonna be disappointed. I told y'all gonna learn a whole lot of shit and get a whole lot of value from this episode, man. This has been my brother for the last 20 plus years.
Yeah, boy.
And I see as he's the godfather of my one good daughter.
Me too, actually.
Yeah, see, so I these are the quality guests that I want to bring for you all, and I thank you for taking time out to really watch and learn and listen with us. And please hit that subscribe button, share this message, share this video with people that you feel it can add value to, and as always, I do hope that this episode added value to you. Until next time, peace.